Hey everyone, welcome back to How to Be a Poser. Today we're going to show you how to use accessories from two separate figures based on the same character to maximize the display potential for both. To do that, we'll be using the Hot Toys Luke Skywalker 6-scale figure and the Hot Toys Luke Skywalker Deluxe 6-scale figure, both from Return of the Jedi. Let's get started. Alright, here they are. The Luke Skywalker 6-scale figure from Return of the Jedi and the Endor Luke Skywalker Deluxe 6-scale figure from Return of the Jedi, both by Hot Toys. These two figures combined feature every possible accessory you could want to have to replicate your favorite scene from Return of the Jedi. Look at everything we have here today. Can't wait to see what I can do with these two, so let's get rolling. Alright, here he is at last, the Hot Toys Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi. Alright, so what I'm planning on doing with this thing here, you can see that I have the first release of the Jedi Luke figure. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate one element from the Luke Skywalker Deluxe figure, that being this head sculpt with the windswept hair. And I'm going to try to do something, tell a little bit of a story that we didn't get to see in the films. Essentially, I'm going to pose Luke with his cloak and kind of recreate something we didn't see in the films, and that being Luke showing up at Jabba's palace or getting ready to go into Jabba's palace. Now, I'm having a hard time getting this head in there. Oh, that's okay. I had a bit of fabric in the way, so watch out when you're first putting the neck all the way down into that keyhole there. It may not... Ah, there we go. Nope, we got it. It's good. All right, so that's step one. We've got the windswept head from the Deluxe figure on the original release figure body. Now we're going to substitute the hands. You can see the hands that he came with. One of them is the gloved hand, which would be inaccurate insofar as the timeline is concerned. His hand has not been injured yet, so there's no need for him to cover it up. Now, for what I have in mind, I'm going to need these hands. I just want these hands to be able to reach back and grab the hood of that cloak whenever I get that cloak placed onto the body, which is coming up pretty quickly here. This won't take too terribly long. And apologies to anybody who's looking for a seriously dynamic pose with this. You can hit some pretty dynamic stuff with this figure, but for my purposes, that's not what I'm after. I think it's more important to kind of tell a story with this. All right, this is my first time getting a good look at this cloak. And it looks like it's stitched together. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to take this head off again. Let's bring this cloak just ever so gently onto the body. Just drape it over the shoulders there. There we go. This material is so fine and just downscales so nicely, but it was folded back there. I couldn't quite see where it ended. Maybe I should get my eyes checked. And so I've got the opening position strategically where it needs to be. Got this head. I'm going to get it back into there. And again, just kind of working it down onto the neck post. Good. Excellent. That's already looking pretty magnificent. Okay, so this is the lightsaber blade and the lightsaber hilt that come with the original release of the Jedi Luke figure. I'm going to go ahead and take the blade out because he's not using it right now. And right here on the belt, there's a little hook that corresponds with this little ring on the side of the lightsaber. So we're going to take that, we're going to let that dangle just a little bit, and then hook it, and let it fall, and there it sits. My thought on this is that it's going to be a little bit of a windy environment on Tatooine that day, but he's going to be on his way to confront Jabba about releasing Han Solo. Now, I'm noticing that the joints in this figure are ratcheted, so I'm doing it really quickly because I'm used to doing it, but what you're going to want to do is raise it a notch, adjust the sleeve. Raise it another notch, adjust the sleeve, and then get it up there as close as you can. I think that's a perfectly fine level at this point. I may adjust later, but I'm just going to reach back and just get that hand in the general area of the hood. Then repeat the process with this end. One notch, adjust. One notch, adjust. And just step by step until you reach a similar level. It doesn't have to be identical. Remember, I like asymmetry in the limbs and legs, arms, hands, whatever. So I'm kind of reaching back now, and I'm going to try to get that hood actually between his thumb and index finger. Cool. Let's do the same thing on this side. That's already pretty much been done for us. Thank you, serendipity. I don't want him just standing there doing it, so we're going to apply a little bit of motion. So in order to do that, let's just go ahead and just have him like he's taking a step forward. Just gets a little bit more drama to it if he's actually making a move towards his destination. And then I'm going to have him lean in a bit into the wind. Let's get that head up just a little bit like he's looking off onto the horizon. Now, I'm just making minor adjustments here because I'm just trying to make him look as real as possible. And I think that since this hood is wired, we can sort of simulate it billowing in the wind a little bit and see how that looks. Yeah, not so much. So I just kind of want to mess with this hood. See how it kind of wants to tuck in underneath there? I don't like that, so I'm just going to kind of grasp the wired hood between my thumb and forefinger and then just kind of roll it. See what I'm doing there? Take that index finger, push it down while bringing the thumb up, and that will rotate the fabric around the wire and decrease, at the very least, the amount that that fabric hides under the wire there. And I think that's desirable. That wrist peg there is actually, I was thinking about rotating that wrist peg to kind of bring his wrist down a little bit. It was rotating forward and backward instead of up and down, and I think that actually worked out in my favor, so I'm keeping that the way that it is. This one though, I'm just going to go ahead and bend down just like that. I think we can probably have his hands reaching back just a little more. I'm just going to push, you see how I'm just kind of pushing them together by using the elbows as my point of pressure? That accomplishes two things. It makes it look more realistic, like he's actually reaching back to grab that hood and pull it up, but also it gives a little bit more clearance so that you can see that portrait. And that's a pretty solid Mark Hamill portrait. We don't want to hide that if we can avoid it. All right, so this is going to be the hard part. You can see one of the things that I try to do is get this, use this boot, tilt it down, and that kind of helps to support my abilities to create balance there. It also just looks more realistic, like he's just rolling off of his toe back there. This is where I've got to start trying to find a balance with the figure. So to do that, I'm just going to move the legs slightly away, have them slightly parted, just to shift that center of gravity and actually widen the center of gravity a little bit so that, there we go, it's almost there. Just about got it. I'm just going to create like a little bit of a C curve with him here. And then also lean him a little bit more forward. Sometimes finding that balance can take a long time, but with patience, you'll be rewarded. That's pretty good, but I think it can probably benefit by bringing the elbows up just a little bit. Have him not so close to his body. Yeah, it's a minor adjustment, but I think overall the pose benefits from it. Finally, after you've got the pose dialed, you're just going to want to do as we said and drop that lightsaber onto the belt and hope that it's not enough weight to pull the figure over. In this case, it's not. And again, just having that just out of the way, just enough to expose that lightsaber, that just adds so much to the whole process. Yeah, there it is. Awesome. Luke on his way to see Jabba the Hutt. These figures represent Luke Skywalker near the end of his hero's journey. And while the core outfit remains the same throughout the film, there are enough adjustments and minor refinements to keep multiple figures interesting. Especially with that deleted scene costume. It's gorgeous and brings some next level fan service to any display.
Hey, did you like that video? Be sure to subscribe by clicking the S icon on your screen and click that bell icon to be notified whenever a new video is posted. If you'd like more info on the items featured in this video, click the link provided under Product Info. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to let your geek side show.